Indie Music Live, episode 195. You know how I like to rhyme that. I was getting excited this week. It was going to be episode 195. I'm like, yeah, I get to rhyme. Anyway, what's up, Mr. David Werba? How you doing tonight?
How's it going, man? I haven't mentioned some of the latest reviews in a while. We got Solar Sapiens,
Ton of them.
Jaslyn Gold, Gianna Alessi, Brad Jones. There's a bunch. Check out the website, guys, for all those posted.
Cool. Yeah, one of those we're going to be listening to tonight. But let's see. So first up tonight, we're going to check out Sleepless Denver, submission off the website a few months back. Sort of a pop punk mixture thing. We have featured artists. I didn't even ask. How do you say your last name? I'm dumb.
Oh, it's Chou.
Ah, that's what I thought.
Ooh,
okay.
I would have said Chou.
Stephanie
Wow.
Chou, featured artist tonight. We'll be talking to her in a few minutes. And then Remotejazz, a recent review on the website a few months back. We're getting caught up. Back in the groove. We're on the slow churn to episode 200. And one of those guys is helping us out, get caught up on all the reviews over Christmas. He was like my best buddy. We were messaging all the time like little girlfriends. Mr. Marty LaFaso, what's up, my friend?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, man. Good to have you. You got a beard going.
Yep. You know, I got to look grown up to all the little students. Can't be baby-faced.
So what have you been up to? You guys have been talking about doing new music. Is it happening yet?
Yeah, we've been posting a lot on social media, just like little clips that we're working on. I mean, we're working on learning the software still and going the full electronic route, but we're getting stuff posted and we're making more progress than we have been before. So it's been very rewarding lately.
Sweet. I got to go check that out. Where is it? Where is all that stuff?
We've been mostly posting on like Instagram. We've been trying to teach ourselves TikTok too. You know, got to stay current.
Yeah, I was having nightmares about doing that the other day. I have to start learning about that. Okay, cool. So it's at Tart Vandelay on Instagram.
Yep, at Tart Vandelay.
Sweet. So let's start the night out with Sleepless Denver with their single Stereo, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
In a distance, the promises reassuring peace, but I'm not sure if I see the lights in the city shining through the disparity. Well, hold your breath, 'cause I'm falling out. Gotta believe that this is the last time. The sound of my beating heart, the sound of my heart on your stereo. Please come down, will you have a look inside? The sound of my heart on your stereo. Come and drink from the fountain. Set your eyes to an anomaly. We'll fall back into place. I was fighting a battle while the world fell in front of you. Come and have your way. I'm falling out. Gotta believe that this is the last time.
Indie Music Live, episode 195. You know, when I introduced the band earlier, I almost said Sleepless in Seattle, and I was thinking in my head just now, Sleepless in Seattle. It's not it. Sleepless Denver. With their song Stereo, pop punk. I enjoy pop punk. I can't say that the song isn't predictable necessarily, but it's very good for an indie band. I think I think they're from Denver. Actually, not really positive, but so what do you think, gentlemen?
Marty.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I'd probably agree with you, Joe. Fairly, formulaic. fairly par for the course. But I did like some of the elements. The guitar playing was really nice, and it definitely just it captures the emotion that they're going for pretty well. Brings you back to that age.
I hate to be that guy that's like, yeah, there was jazz in there, but I actually heard like some swinging in the like the chorus part a little bit that made it a little more interesting for me. But Dave's a pop punk kind of guy, right?
Yeah, man. I like pop punk. I like, the new rock. I mean, it kind of fits in that space. Has that familiar sound. Like you listen to it, it's like, wait, did I hear that on the radio? Like the chorus is just, it's kind of that catchy and everything, but
we lost Marty.
I'm back.
All right. But after saying, I don't know how many dozens of times on the show about bands saying it's like they need some compression, they need some mastering, I think this is too compressed, man. Like I think it's just a little too washed out, because the performances are excellent across the board with all the players. I mean, drums, guitar, big wall of sound with the guitars. Nice vocals, but I think you need some doubling and a better effect if you want to kind of match with mainstream radio type of bands. Because they got the skill. I mean, it's so obvious. You listen to the song, it's like, well, was this like one of their demos or something? So yeah, maybe if not this tune, maybe some of their future stuff, just be more conscious of that, because I wanted to hear more dynamic when I was listening. So.
Like we always say, it's good, but we can't wait to hear the next album. Right?
I love their next album. Yeah.
All right. So time for Rob to get the shot up. We're going to bring in our featured artist. So we actually have a real musician on the show tonight, everybody.
Yeah.
A real trained musician. No, we always have real musicians, but this one stands out because it's like Chinese jazz music, and she does a lot of interesting stuff. I actually got submission from her on Sonic Bids, who set up an account for us and was like running a contest for us. So I actually went through all the submissions, and she was the first one that actually really stood out to me. So I got in contact with her right away, and here we are. So without further ado, Stephanie Chou, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. You have a very interesting thing going on, and I'm excited to have you here. So why don't you tell us just briefly who you are and why you're here, and tell us just a little bit about Quiet Night Thought, and then we'll hear a snippet of it, come back and get deeper with Dave.
Okay, cool. So I'm Stephanie Chou. I'm a saxophonist, composer, and singer from New York. And like JoJo said, I do sort of Chinese fusion with jazz, with some classical and pop. And really, I started out sort of more in classical music, classical saxophone, and then made my way over into the jazz thing. And now I sort of try to take all of my experiences and influences and blend them in together to create, hopefully, a unique sound. So Quiet Night Thought is from my previous album called Asymptote, which was released in 2017. And it is actually a setting of a very famous poem by Li Bai, who is one of the most famous Chinese poets from the Tang Dynasty. And I learned that poem as a child, and it always stuck with me. So I wanted to do a setting of it and put it in sort of a unique situation, because I would say a lot of the harmonies that I chose for this particular piece and the percussion and that kind of thing doesn't really come from the Chinese tradition. So it was sort of my take on blending some culture and poetry with this different sound. And the percussionist you'll hear is Kenny Wallison, who is an established, well-known drummer and percussionist on the New York City jazz scene.
Sweet.
Cool.
Awesome. So I think that's like one of the best, most cohesive intros we've ever heard of a featured artist. So very good job. Quiet Night Thoughts. And it has some cool Chinese writing, which I know nothing about in the title. So check that out. Go get it tattooed or something. I don't know. Anyway, Rob, go ahead.
So bright, a gleam on the foot of my bed. Could there have been a frost already? Lifting myself to look, I found it was moonlight. Sinking back, I thought suddenly of home. I thought suddenly of home. 前明月光，疑是地上霜。举头望明月，低头思故乡。
Stephanie, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. So this is it's not just the music that's unique. Your story is pretty unique as well. But I mean, I would say it's almost like, at least with this tune, there's like avant-garde jazz, it's almost like ripe for improvisational jazz solos to come in. That's kind of what I was hearing. Do you ever do that? Do you ever play that song live and have soloists play on top of it?
Oh yeah, totally. So when we do it
Awesome.
live, because this recorded version was I overdubbed piano, saxophone, the percussion, you know, or it's all overdubbed. When we do it live, yeah, we open it up for improvisation, with soloist and group improvisation. And a lot of the stuff that I did before this particular album was heavily based in sort of the small group jazz tradition with a lot of improvisation.
Very cool. All right. So I often pontificate about the connection between music and mathematics, right? That was kind of my personal story. I was really, really deep into math when I was very young. And then long before I started getting into music. And then when I started learning instruments, I felt that connection, and I felt like it made sense faster than other people around me, I guess, learning that maybe did not recognize that connection. So I mean, I guess like the story of this is best attributed to Pythagoras, I guess. You know, just the ancient Greek philosopher, who's also a mathematician, did early work, I'm sure you know, just in terms of scales and music theory. But so you went to Columbia University in New York. You majored in music and math. So I wanted you to offer just some thoughts on this, I guess.
On the connection with math and music? Yeah, I get asked that pretty often. So they're definitely related for sure. People often ask me, you know, has math influenced in what ways has math influenced your music? Or, you know, of course the connection with playing an instrument and just the way you think about things is a certain way because of the mathematical brain, I guess. But in terms of, had I continued to study math, I would have gone into an area called knot theory, which is a branch of topology. And I decided to make that the theme for my first album, which is called Prime Knot. And in that particular album, I took different knots, which are like these mathematical shapes that are related to like knots that you think of in real life, you know, tying your shoelace or whatever. I related them to different arrangements and harmonizations for a traditional Chinese song.
That was cool.
Yeah, and then in other ways, like the title song from Asymptote is about an asymptote, you know, that is a metaphor for two people who get close to each other but never really touch, and just like an asymptotic function. So
sure. But so it's interesting, like I was just kind of looking up your upcoming shows and past shows and everything, and you play at like museums and auditoriums and you know like not common places for bands, I guess, like indie bands or anything like that. But you also play at the business school, and it's kind of explain what you kind of do. Like it sounds like you don't just play, it's almost you kind of
those things for the business school are workshops that are run by a business school faculty member, but they discuss the intersections of math and music, and also how playing in a jazz group is kind of like successful for how musicians working together in a band can be applied to in the workplace.
There you go. Cool.
So there are
That's
these
cool.
like executive education workshops.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that is super cool. All right. Before we depart the interview, I want to give you some time to talk about Comfort Girl, just that project.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up. So my current project is called Comfort Girl, and it is a musical exploration of the lives of former Chinese comfort women. And this is a fairly not well-known story. But during World War II, there were about over 200,000 young girls and women who were basically abducted into sexual slavery by the Japanese army. And they were held captive for years, and many of them were killed. But some of them escaped and went on to have, went on to live a long time. So my piece, my current concept album, which I'm calling it, is an exploration of their lives, and it follows the story of one particular woman. And it's arranged for small group jazz ensemble, piano, drums. I play saxophone and I sing. There's another singer, and there's a guy who plays erhu, viola, and violin. So it's in English. There are a couple songs in Chinese, but it's sort of a concept album / song cycle, and that's
amazing. I mean, I love just where an artist uses material where there's like a deep story, and it shows just how thoughtful they are in their craft. I think that's amazing. I wanted to mention Stephanie's website. So it's StephanieChouMusic.com. Chou is her last name. Yep. One of the better websites I've seen for an artist. I mean, it's very well laid out. All of her stuff is up there, all of her music and media, and it's go check that out. How about social media? Are you active on Twitter and Instagram or anything?
I've got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. I don't do the TikTok like you guys are or Snapchat. That's beyond that's too much for me. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Steph Chou Music, STPHCHOU.
Okay, excellent. It was a great pleasure speaking with you. Please come back.
Oh yes, thank you
sometime in the future.
Having me.
Yes. All right, we're gonna move on here. Rob, if you're ready, we got some new song by Remotejazz. Very cool tune right here. Let's cue it up right there. Let's do this right there. Remotejazz is Robert L. Bryant. and that was back in the groove. I love this stuff. I mean, you know, Chris Swan, Joe, we've all talked about our love of smooth jazz.
Oh, yeah.
I've most of my life. I love having it on in the background, and some of the better stuff I really, you know, throw on the headphones, just kind of zone out to it. And this was cool in that sense because there's like a trance element to this one. And this is one of those songs you got to listen with headphones on this one to really get the full effect of the production here. There's a lot of effects going on, a lot of panning. So it was, you know, certain songs like this are written specifically for headphones. Like you're not gonna get the full effect on just a open speaker system. But another great one. What do you think, Marty?
Honestly, I agree. I really, really enjoy just the nostalgia that sort of, you know, like 90s electronica stuff gives me. I honestly didn't realize how much impact that stuff had on me until we started making electronic music.
Yeah.
You know, but growing up with like Chemical Brothers and Fatboy Slim, and yeah, I don't know, we've just been bumping all kinds of early 90s techno, and this track just brought me right back to that.
It's like you go to sequence something. It's like, how can I make a beat without going? It's just so easy, you know.
And jazz, smooth jazz, like this style of music is always some of the cleanest recordings that you'll hear on radio anywhere in any genre. So I always love I always love putting on the headphones. Just there's no noise like in this genre, and I always respect that. So
yeah, I've always liked what he's doing. So yeah, cool, good stuff. So Marty, remind everybody where we can find your music before we wrap this up tonight.
At Tart Vandelay on all social media platforms.
Sweet. I can barely hear you, man. Do you have your finger on your mic or something?
Maybe.
Oh, they are. We almost made it. Yeah.
Yeah, almost. That's funny. That's what you get when you hold your own camera there. You need to really hire somebody to do that for you, like me.
Rob probably hates my guts, but it's okay.
No, it's live TV. It's fun. It's fun. Dave, any final words tonight?
No, man. I always forget to say this in the show. Like Marty and his wife Kate are just amazing writers. They're critics on our website. They just the way they write. It's just it's very enjoyable just to like read it. You know, and
they are good. That's why they're our top choice for sure when I go for writers. And then Loopy, Chris Wan.
Yeah,
he's our hip hop guy. So
their lexicon and just how creative they are in making points. I encourage people to go check it out.
Exactly. So
thank you guys.
So Hixvideo, Hixvideo, Mr. Robert Hicks. If you need professional live streaming to the internet, he's the guy to go to. And we're on the slow churn to episode 200. Like I said, this has been Indie Music Live, episode 195. I'm JoeJoeKeys. Thanks to Stephanie Chou and everybody else for watching and hanging out with us. We'll catch you next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. Rob's about ready to do the thing.